Coming up on Network Africa. Double suicide blast killed 3 in Cameroon. Security officials blame bombings on Boko Haram militants. Pressure mounts on Rwandan president's third-term bid as the United States says it expects President Kagame to step down at the end of a second term in office.
At the end of his term in 2017.
Zambia goes green as the government launches initiative that promotes green technologies in the construction sector. Hello and welcome to Network Africa. I am Adeshewa Josh. It is becoming a worrisome, almost daily occurrence in Cameroon's far north region as suspected Boko Haram militants continue to invade communities, killing many. In an overnight raid, the group detonated 2 suicide blast bombs in the north of Cameroon, killing at least 3 people. Confirming the incident, security officials say the suicide bombers are often carried out by young women recruited by the Islamist militant group in neighboring Nigeria. Michael Umaru, deputy prefect for the Wazat town, said there was a double suicide attack last night in his town in the far north of Cameroon, with a total of 6 dead, including 3 of the attackers. 2 security sources also confirmed the attack, with one of them pegging the death toll higher at 6 civilians. A third suicide bomber was killed by security forces before she was able to detonate her bomb. UN helicopters have launched strikes against Ugandan rebels near the northeastern border of Democratic Republic of Congo in response to attacks that killed dozens of people. About 30 people were killed on Sunday when Islamist militant fighters from the Allied Democratic Forces, as the ADF, attacked military bases near the town of Eringeti. According to the interim force commander for the UN mission, Jean Baylord, helicopter gunships fired missiles at the ADF positions several miles southeast of Eringeti from about 8 a.m. The government and MONUSCO blame the ADF for massacres since October 2014 that have killed more than 500 civilians. Next year could be crucial for the Central African country as President Joseph Kabila's mandate expires after elections in November and peacekeepers and the army attempt to end violence in the east. Kabila has not commented on his political future, and critics say he intends to stay in power. The long arm of the law is caught up with a British man accused of plotting terror attacks on the Kenyan coast as the court sentences him to 9 years in a Mombasa jail. Jermaine Grant from London was jailed for 9 charges related to trying to illegally obtain Kenyan citizenship. He faces separate charges of conspiring to improvise an explosive device, and a trial in Mombasa is still ongoing. Meanwhile, he has denied the charges. Grant was arrested in 2011 when batteries and chemicals were discovered in his apartment in Mombasa. UK police, who have provided forensic assistance to Kenyan authorities, allege they were precursors for making highly volatile explosive substances. Samantha Lutwaite, known as the White Widow and wanted in connection with the 7/7 bombings in London in 2005, is also suspected of being involved in the alleged plot. Well, she has escaped arrest in Kenya in 2011 and has gone missing since then. The sentencing of Grant comes after Mombasa High Court Judge Martin Muya overturned an earlier acquittal on the Kenyan citizenship charges. Grant has vowed to appeal the judgment. Now, let's talk more about the story as Temitope Olodo joins me from London. He is a preventive terrorism expert. Thank you so much for speaking to us on Network Africa.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, we're seeing an international cooperation in the fight against terror, and the UK appears committed to take its place in this fight. Going by the ongoing, let's go by the ongoing votes in Parliament right now and the collaboration with Kenyan authorities to bring this British-born Jermaine Grant to justice. What are your thoughts?
My thought is that it's very clear at the moment that Britain is serious, or the United Kingdom is serious in working with other countries around the world to deal with this global jihad issue that is affecting many countries, including Nigeria. And what we've seen, or what we've witnessed, is that the support of the British police have actually helped in having this individual jailed because they provided some vital information. And I think that's part of the intelligence sharing that the Prime Minister, David Cameron, is encouraging, because we've seen that lack of intelligence sharing was partly responsible for the incident that happened in Paris. And we know that this individual is not the only one that have gone from the UK. We know that at least there are 20,000 foreign fighters in Syria at the moment, are working with ISIS, and we know that about 700 are from Britain. And there is a lot of work that is being done to ensure that this issue is addressed, because these individuals will return home, and some of them have returned home, and they pose a risk to the national security of the United Kingdom, just like they pose risk to the security of other countries that they are returning back to.
So we talked very much about this international recruitment that it looks like ISIS has embarked on. What more do you have to say about that?
It's a very serious issue, and we need to take it quite seriously, because the Taliban actually recruited close to that 20,000 numbers, but it took a period of 10 years. With the ISIS, we're only looking at it within a period of 3 years. So it is a serious issue. And what we need to understand is that if these individuals or these structures are not disrupted, and some of the individuals removed or dislocated from this, they tend to cause more trouble. From what we are seeing, they are just moving from one country to another, like Samantha, that is being looked for now. She was actually tied to the Yaya bombing in Nigeria, at least by the British, although there have been no collaboration of that fact. But we know that the other individual, or key individual held responsible for that, was arrested in Sudan. And that shows how these individuals could move very quickly across border if this issue is not addressed appropriately. And that's the reason why countries need to work together to ensure that there's intelligence sharing, to keep people safe.
Can we also say one of the reasons why the UK is taking this fight seriously is because a lot of British would-be terrorists are joining this militant group?
Yeah, they are joining, and
because there's a statistics. There's a report that proves this point that I'm trying to make to you.
Yeah. Yeah, there is statistics to prove that, of course, across Europe, there's statistics about the number of people that are joining. Like, for example, I think in Germany, there's about 900 in comparison with Belgium. There is about 700, I think, roughly about that figure. And this is the reason why most of the European countries are really quite worried, taking into consideration the intelligence and information that have come after the Paris incident. We noticed that one of the key terrorists actually sneaked back into Paris, into France, through the refugee route. And that's the reason why there is a lot of work that needs to be done to ensure that intelligence is strong. And we could see that even when we had this Commonwealth summit, the United Kingdom Prime Minister was calling for the establishment of a unit that involves sharing of intelligence on terrorism and dealing with this issue, and pledging $5 million to deal with it, while our president, of course, was asking for the establishment of a committee to look at supporting countries that have been affected by terrorism. So you could see that there is this global collaboration and support now to address this issue of ISIS, but not only that, to address the issue of terrorism as it affects all the nation countries.
What is the most effective form of deterrence to terrorists? Death has so far been a few. Will a jail sentence suffice?
I think a jail sentence is the right way, in the right direction, because we're a democratic democratic in our approach. So we can't just be killing them when they're not carrying arms or to be abusing their rights. We want to show that we are different from them. So them being in jail will provide an opportunity for the authorities to be able to work with them. And I was involved in a similar project when I was working in the Office for Security and Counterterrorism in the UK, where you have de-radicalization even in prison. And those are the kind of initiatives that we need to borrow from all the countries around the world. So you could de-radicalize them while they're in prison. So that 9 years that they're giving to Jeremy will be an opportunity for them to be able to de-radicalize him and to be able to move him away from the life of crime. And I think other countries need to look at that. There's an initiative in Germany, for example, where families that are afraid for members that might join terrorist group have a hotline where they could actually call in, and they're not staffed by policemen but staffed by non-governmental public body providing them support. So we need to look at all the different initiatives around the world and ensure that we use those initiatives to improve this issue, because we need to deconstruct some of these individuals that are getting attracted and look at the drivers of terrorism. What is driving them to want to become a member of this group and address those issues? I believe if we go there and if we take this approach, including sentencing those ones that are called to be involved in it, I think it will send a good message to anybody that wants to join this group.
Temitope Olodo, a preventive terrorism expert, joined us from London. Thank you so much for speaking to us on Network Africa. My
pleasure, always.
Let's take a short break on the program. When we come back, environmentalists in Hong Kong stage protest as lawmakers prepare to debate a motion banning Africa's elephant ivory trade in the country. To join us again.